If you ever see me or Brasso or anybody just shouting the creed on a fail video, like a printed fail video, this is what we're talking about. My prints may fail, but that doesn't mean I'm a failure. It's become like my mantra.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Meet the Makers. Today I have a 3D printer. You may know him from his custom frames that you always see him rocking. You also may know him as a full-time Halloween enthusiast all year round. I'm super excited to have Ray Skullman. Ray, super excited to have you here. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I'll kick you off with the question I start everybody off with. How did you get into 3D printing and how did you get involved in this hobby overall?
I knew this was going to be one of the questions, and I'm like, I'm just going to go down the quick road. We all saw the Frankly Built videos, especially, oh man, guys build Iron Man suits. I want to build an Iron Man suit. And then guys like Manic Realty, who used to be Hot Rod Hippie at the time. All those guys I was seeing like popping up on Instagram, especially like during the pandemic. So like we're all just on our phones all day. And
Yeah.
wow, I want to do that. How do I do that? And then Frankly Built had a video about, oh, great entry-level printer is the Ender. Bought an Ender on Black Friday. Struggled to get that thing together because, not just because it was hard, it was easy to put together, but I'm doing that and trying to deal with 3 kids. So it's like getting that together, and that was supposed to be like my pandemic project, right? I was going to do that, and that was it. I was going to make the Iron Man suit and all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
I set the thing up. I printed the, I don't even know where it is. I printed like the first little test print. It was like a little dog. I was like, this is amazing. I can 3D print. I'm a 3D printer. Then from there, I'm on all the sites. I downloaded the Flexi Factory robot. Wow, I made a robot. It moves. And then I'm like, that's it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for the big thing. I'm going to be like all the cool kids I see on TikTok. I'm going to set up a webcam and just keep an eye on it. And I'm at work. And I'm like, hey, look what I'm doing. And it was fucking spaghetti.
Oh, no.
I was so, because up until that point, like, I had just seen, you, like I said, you, like, the videos we all shoot, they're highly edited, highly choreographed.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You don't see the fails on a lot of things. So me, I thought in the beginning that 3D printing was a set it and forget it type of thing. Oh, I just gotta click this and this and walk away. And I learned very quickly that you can't do that.
I think we both have a lot of unders in our collection, and you saying that honestly was one of the biggest things I wish I would have known before getting into 3D printing that I did not know is exactly like you said. I would see these videos of people 3D printing and I was like, yeah, I'll set it and I'll go to work for the day and I'll come back and everything will be perfect.
I'll have a full suit of Mandalorian armor. I'm the real life Tony Stark. Like I'll just have these projects going all day, every day. And then you learn the truth. And it really became something where I was given an ultimatum actually by my wife because it was driving me crazy. I was getting very frustrated. Everything after it was fail. And that's when I really started diving into TikTok. Like I said, at the Hot Rod Hippie at the time had this like tutorials. Oh, here's a little series of basic how-tos. And then I learned all about bed leveling and I'm like, holy shit, like that. Like that was my problem. Then from there, it really started stemming out into other smaller creators that same thing. I started making my own videos. Hey, I'm having this issue. Oh, I know how to fix that issue and grew from there.
Yeah, I always say that's been the greatest thing in me finding TikTok and 3D printing is I don't think I could have done it alone because exactly that you have a whole team of people to help you crowdsource anytime you have some weird little problem. Almost there's always somebody out there who's had that weird problem happen before and can usually save you hours and hours of time troubleshooting it.
And then just out of that, it stemmed into just like actually developing like mutual friendships. Like I talked to a lot of you guys throughout the day, like through videos, through DMs, through comments. Like it's just an ongoing conversation. It's a great sense of community here in the 3D printing community.
Yeah, as crazy as it is, I always say I think I talk to the 3D printing people more than almost anybody else in my life, and it's such a great group of people, and I'm really thankful to have met everybody on here. It's been awesome.
Really, since I came onto it about a year ago, like I said, we were all just like scraping together, like finding ourselves on here, and now we're hanging out almost nightly. Guys are doing lives. Sometimes it's just you're watching someone 3D print something, but now you've got guys using Live Studio, and we're figuring out how to like just what I call it upping the production value. Like we're really like taking it to the next level, just beyond like, hey, go stare at my print for 3 hours. We're having conversations nightly, like about printing problems, or just hanging out, doing like our own show and tells. And it's great because it keeps me involved. Because like sometimes, like with most things, you get the hyperfixation. You're like, I go on it hard, and then you fucking hate it and you don't want to look at it. And I can say this is the one hobby that, thanks to TikTok and you guys, it's art overkill. Sent me a video today about, it was like an Arnold Schwarzenegger video about having like a training partner. So like when you're feeling down, you have your training partner. Come on, we gotta get in the gym. We gotta pump up. Well, I'm gonna challenge you today. We're gonna do push. I don't work out, but that analogy, like I said, in 3D printing, like we're always doing fun stuff like that. Like Art had that great. We were doing that thing. He was doing that thing for Halloween.
Oh yeah, the rings. Yeah.
I love that, and from that, I'm always after him. Like, when are we gonna do something like that again? Like make it Michael's doing the printing Olympics. Like it's
I read Pepito back here right now for the printing Olympics, but yeah, it's always something going on. Like you said, it always keeps it exciting because anytime in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know what to print. I don't know what to lay down. There's always something like that comes up that it sucks you back in.
Oh, believe me, and I'm like that too. Because like most times, like my free time, I'm on Thingiverse, I'm on Colts. Gotta get that. My computer has just become a repository. Like if Colts ever goes down, don't worry, I got a backup.
Yeah, you'll be the STL dealer of the internet over there. I think between all the 3D printers on TikTok, we probably like somehow have mutually combined would have the database of cults, because I know for me, my downloads folder is just like endless files.
If it ever went down, as long as we had battery backup, we could print it all.
For sure. Yeah, I totally agree with so many things that you say. I'm definitely somebody who I tend to be like a hobby jumper. And this is, I think, one of the most relatable things that you said is like having somebody there to constantly be like, oh, what are you printing today? What are you working on? It's really cool. So
and
I love
that. And you get to know everybody outside of 3D printing. Some people are just straight up, hey, this is my TikTok persona. I just do this. And we still have a good time with those people. Other people, like I said, like guys like Art, guys like even Make It Mike, talking daily, just not even about 3D printing. So it's really cool to have that sense of community, especially like where I'm at, like where there is no outside community.
Yeah.
Like I go talk to my neighbors and shit about 3D printing. They're like, what?
You're like, what are you talking about? I think I don't know if this is something you can relate to. When you're in your younger years of life, I think it's really easy to meet people. You have these mutual things that you're doing, whether it be like school or hobbies or things like that. But I found for myself, like I had moved across the country when I was 23, and I found it like really difficult to meet people that like had common interests as me. And yeah, I think that's like a lot of people talk about social media like it's this terrible thing. And of course, you don't want to be like sitting on social media all day, but it really is, I'd say, such like a good sense of community.
Yeah, you found like my tribe on here.
Yeah.
It's like people like, and it's like I said, it led me like the way the algorithm works on TikTok. It knows more about you than you know about you. And suddenly, like, it's putting people in my face that are like, hey, do you have problems with getting to places on time and doing your daily activities? I'm like, yeah, every day. Why?
Yeah.
Oh, you might have ADHD. I'm like, and then it just keeps putting that in your face, and you're like, hey, maybe I should go talk to somebody about this. Lo and behold, yeah, I got it pretty bad.
I feel like I've learned so much about myself from being on TikTok. Like you said, the algorithm almost knows you more than you know yourself.
Like I said, everything. It's incredible the way. Like I said, I feel like I've been on the app for years. I think I'm only now starting my second year. It's just amazing how much time I've compressed into that one year, especially like becoming so adept at 3D printing in such a short amount of time. If I didn't have a resource like TikTok, I'd be on YouTube and getting frustrated with YouTube because it's a one-sided conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas, like I said, TikTok is like, I can have that one-sided conversation, but you might say, okay, Ray, yeah, I had the same problem. Just twist that knob, and I might be going crazy because I'm looking at 8 other things on it. And I still go use all these fucking things.
I feel like because they bring a lot of joy to me, but it's also a nonstop source of ongoing craziness in my house.
That's why, like, lately, too, like I said, especially between trying to juggle the 3 kids, I've downsized the type of prints that I do. Like, all this stuff over here was stuff I made, like, in the beginning. But now, like I said, I'm down to doing the pins and stuff because I can do these in 20 minutes, half hour, depending, because it's just like a simple SVG file.
Yeah.
And I've been having a lot of fun with these. A lot of people have been showing interest in them, which is great. But yeah, just getting back to the whole thing with TikTok. It's like, I used to tell my big thing when I got into 3D printing was I used to tell all the guys on here, I'm not an artist. I'm not a painter or anything like that. I'm like, so I want to do 3D printing because if I can print it all the different elements and different colors and just glue it together and make something amazing, I'll do that. But then, thanks to the algorithms and TikTok, they're like, hey, we saw you like to do this stuff. Do you know there's these guys that paint D&D minis? And I'm like, oh, wow, he's doing, what? What is that? What is that method called? Dry brushing? Oh, what? How do you do that? And then I took something like this and turned it into this.
Wow, that one's beautiful. That is, if you didn't know that it was 3D printed, it looks like an actual human
Oh, yeah.
skull.
And this was made on an Ender 3.
Wow.
It came off the bed like this. I was surprised myself. Shit, I did that. And then, like I said, nothing even to it. And I started making this, and then I started going. I was like, oh, wow, I love making skulls. Like all this shit I used to see in Halloween stores, Spencer's Gifts that they charge for like, ridiculous money for. I'm like, I'm making this for like pennies on the dollar. Now I can be the creepy kid I always wanted to be.
Yeah, that was something I was actually interested in. I had first joined TikTok like right before Halloween, right around early October. And you were actually one of the first people who got suggested to me by the algorithm. And I was kind of like following along all Halloween with what you were doing and saw you were like super into it. And like you, Tafty Prints, I know there's a lot of 3D printers out there who are really like love Halloween.
There are a lot of spooky people on TikTok.
Yeah.
I have overlapped with a lot of them through 3D printing and the other crafters. And that's what I love too, because we all draw off each other. Like I definitely get inspired by like a lot of the female creators, the jewelry they make, and like some of them are 3D printers, some of them are not. It's incredible because it's like that audio everybody uses. Like nobody will support you more than a stranger on the internet. And I love videos that pop up like, oh man, that's awesome. And it might not be something that like I can necessarily wear, but I wish I could.
That statement, nobody will support you more than a stranger on the internet. That's so true. I like just so many people that you've just randomly encountered that are so supportive and so great. And it's one of the things you talked about a little bit ago is you maybe didn't feel like you were like a super artistic person maybe when you started it, but you learn so much from just like observing what other people are doing. And like you said, learning how to dry brush or learning like these techniques. And maybe it's not even somebody who's a 3D printer doing it, but like just coming across all the different styles that people use and the different skills that they have. I think it's really interesting. And I found myself like feeling like my I guess you want to call it artistic skills have like definitely increased over the time of being on there.
Oh, absolutely. It's even for me, like I've tried to push myself. Like I remember always like drawing, doodling as a kid, but didn't fell out of it as I got older. But just seeing what guys are doing, like digital art and stuff like that, like really pushed me. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna pick up my tablet and start doodling again, see what I come up with. I don't have I love what the guys do at like Procreate. But I'm an Android user, so I can't find that equivalent. I just love how they make a circle and it just pop, and it's like a perfect like curves and shit. And I'm like, and I'm drawing on the thing and it's coming out like shit. But
yeah, I have an iPad and I have Procreate, but even for me, I go into Procreate and it's like a disaster what comes out of there, but it's still fun to mess around with and play with. I can say for me, it's in a weird way been like therapeutic getting into 3D printing. Although some days I do want to whip them across the room, it's like strangely therapeutic. Have you found that to be the case for you?
it really, like I said, for me, like I said, definitely. I don't know what it is. We all say it too, like the humming, the noise, and a lot of guys swear by their like silent boards and shit like that. I love coming down here. It makes me upset sometimes that my Ender 2 is very quiet. Sometimes I just love the buzzing and the humming, like little bees all working around me. I definitely loved that when I started, and it definitely did. It became a type of therapy, especially when I came down here and really got into painting the prints. Really showed me, oh wow, I am more like creative than I thought, because I never thought I had. I always thought I had like the creative mind, but not the means to make it a reality. And that's one of the things I really like about 3D printing, is that you can have the vision, but you don't necessarily have to have the skill. I love skulls, but I wouldn't know the first thing about making my own skull. I've tried, but it just looks, like I said, like a potato. But then, like I said, you can take something somebody else has done and really make it your own. And that I do that with the painting. I've done that. Like I've mashed things together, which is another great thing. This is like one of my first dabbles in just taking two models and seeing what would come out. You can see, like, this is actually a bust of James Madison that I just basically put a Boba Fett helmet on. Because I always had this crazy idea of like colonial Star Wars or something like that.
That's so funny.
And again, cool. It's just things I would have always wanted as a kid, but if you would have saw it on a website, some guy would be charging you like a couple $100. I made this. It cost me what? It looks cool on a shelf.
No, I'm right there with you. I like my dream for my house is to have it just be somewhere that somebody comes into and it's like almost like an art museum. Like it's an experience to come into and it's just like a collection of weird things. And 3D printing has just let me like explode that in the fastest and best way.
Do you remember that show Oddities
Yes.
on Discovery? I used to
Yeah.
love watching that show, and I used to always like dream about having like my own little kind of curio cabinet. And now that I'm a little older, and that stuff can be expensive. I hate to buy people's mummified stuff. I'll just make it. I'll make it look as close as I can to that.
Yeah, I think what's cool about that too is like I had just recently put this question out on TikTok and it was really interesting to hear people's responses to it. But I was asking like if you're 3D printing something, let's say you're like me or yourself, and I don't think either of us like to do too much modeling, but is printing something like does it still make it art? And I think it does. I really believe, especially when you're getting into the sides of heavy post processing and things like that, I really think it is art. But even like looking at your setup right now, I think a piece that I don't hear people talk about a lot is even like the curation of things. Like you have a very curated collection, and like as soon as you turned on your camera today, it was just like it's a vibe over there, and I think that's really cool.
And this is again exactly why I love the 3D printing, because like I said, like I can be. I said, now that I'm in my 30s, I get to be the teenager I always wanted to be, right?
Yes.
I get to finally have all the creepy cool shit I've always wanted. Like I said, I always said if I had more time, I'd really get into like the bigger stuff, maybe print a sword or something to stick on the wall. I just got to, like I said, I got to get all of these to cooperate.
Yeah.
Again, like it's like you said, it's heavily curated. It's something I've always wanted as a kid, and I can tell you, like when Halloween kicks in, all this stuff comes out and goes up into the house, and the whole house becomes a vibe, literally from August to November.
From August to November is the true Halloween season.
I start slow. Suddenly, things like literally, like the changing of the seasons, things start to go from green to orange to brown.
I love that. I love that.
Because I've always loved Halloween. It's something that like really it came from my childhood, right? My family, for some reason, like I remember just before my grandfather passed away, they all got this crazy idea to just take all the junk in the garage, and they built an entire Halloween scene from scratch.
Oh wow.
Gravestones, like life-size spooky tree, and I had some of the best memories as a kid in there. My aunt still has all that crap 30 years later. I'm trying to like take it off her hands, or I'm just gonna end up making my own. Now that I can do all this, I don't need that. Like that was all made out of plywood. The stuff I can do now, like my grandfather would be like, wow. So that's also a kind of what do they call that? It's a core memory. It's part of my DNA.
Yeah.
Now.
That's really cool. And I imagine probably for your kids, it's probably going to be a similar thing, like fast forward. And I'm sure like they'll have a lot of memories of the Halloween starting in August and all the cool things. I can't even imagine if my parents had a 3D printer when I was a kid, I probably would have gone wild. And that's got to be fun for them too.
And now my son's at the age where he's not so much into the 3D printing. He has shown some interest in it. Like when I started painting, he was like, Daddy, he's like, you're making a dinosaur. He goes, can you make me a dinosaur? So I said, sure, I'll make you a dinosaur. He goes, and I want to paint it too. So I printed him a dinosaur head.
Oh.
And himself, and I keep it on my shelf, and it's one of the proudest things ever. Like I said,
That's awesome.
like I said, and even that, like I've done things for the school, printed him little, like his birthday is Halloween, my son's birthday.
Oh, wow.
So I hit the jackpot when that happened. Like my wife made this kid's gonna be born on Halloween. He was, and it's great because now I get to celebrate Halloween. I get to celebrate his birthday. I get to do fun things like for his birthday. All the kids in class got one of these, like a little trick or treat.
I think I remember seeing that. I think you had like a box of jack-o'-lanterns. It was overflowing.
And those are the leftovers.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think it's definitely seems like something that will probably be a core memory for your kids too. So that's really cool to hear.
I hope so. That or they're gonna resent me for it. Like that son of a bitch who spent all this time in the printing stuff. He should have been raising us.
No, I definitely think it'll be the first one. I think it'll be the first one. Now, like on the theme of spooky stuff, I see you have them on right now. You seem to always have some variation of them in your videos as your pins. Big fan of them. How did you get into wearing those and printing those? How did that become a thing for you?
Let me know. I will send you some. I got a whole bowl.
Oh, wow.
And I have earrings coming to the shop soon.
Nice.
Same thing, just a variation of the hand.
Very cool.
I got into it because I'm big into pins. I got big into collecting enamel pins. Like with Halloween being my favorite time of year, it was like spooky Halloween skull pins, stuff like that. And as I got more into the 3D printing, I was like, I just make this stuff. Like I want to see what I can make for myself, like with something that nobody else has. And I just started like Googling different things, and then like I said, like I found like the drippy skull file, and I started working with that, and I was like, I need more. As like I said, started doing the skeleton hands, and then the skeleton arm came about, and then I just started doing them in every color I could imagine. This one here is probably like one of my favorite colors. You see me wear these all the time, like the green, the black. I gotta put a backing on this one. I love you in sign language. I've had a bunch of sign language ones I want to try to like work with, and for me, it's fun. It's a way of like showing off 3D printing in a unique way. Like for me, it is a bit of a niche. Like I don't see a lot of people doing it, and I really do want to expand on it. People have really shown interest in it. I've developed a small little shop out of it that's gaining right now. Nothing crazy, but like for me, it's exciting.
That's super cool, and I'm excited for you. That's gaining traction.
That keep me printing. Like maybe I'm not feeling printing it, but then I'll get like an order for a skull, a hand. Okay, great. I'll come down here. I print them over on my Ender 2, which, like I said, I'm currently in the middle of filling an order. Guy wanted a pixel skull.
Oh, okay.
And a drippy skull like this one. So working on that, and yeah. And then while I'm down here, of course, I'll be on the computer. Oh wow, look. And then I got something else going. That's my goal, to try to get 2-3 prints going a day, even if they're little nothings. Gotta make these machines pay for themselves.
Yeah, it's honestly, I feel like there's something satisfying about just having those quick little prints too. It's like a little dopamine hit to run through it, and it's just done, and it's not long.
Why I started doing it, it's that little hit of dopamine. Like I said, I make these in about a half hour, and I'm like, oh, there it is. And then I get to, and it's that little satisfaction. Like,
yeah, for if anybody's listening to this who doesn't 3D print, I can't emphasize enough how much satisfaction comes from just popping something off the build plate.
I wish it was funny. Like I was joking, like I wanted to have something printing, and I had that scene in Clueless going in my head. Like, oh, when a boy comes over, you have to have something in baking in the oven. And that's how I felt with the 3D print. I was like, I want us to be in the conversation, so I can just go, oh, it's done.
Yeah, no, it's. I feel like it's almost easy to forget sometimes the longer that you've been doing it too. But there's something almost magical about 3D printing, like just the idea of starting with nothing and you watch it build up, and then it's just done, and you have this finished piece. It's cool.
The closest thing to having some kind of piece of sci-fi technology in your home. And I brought that up to like people, like I've made videos about it, and I've had trolls come at me, 3D printing's been around since the 70s. And I'm like, I've been around since the 80s, so it's all new for me. It's cool that I can have this now, because I remember reading about this stuff in magazines, like, I'll never get into I could never get into that, I could never afford it. That's 7 printers now, because you know how it is. You get the first here, and you're like, all right, that's cool. Takes that long? All right. Get in the car.
That was exactly it. I remember I got on TikTok and I started getting recommended all these 3D printers, and I would see them with 10 printers, and I thought to myself, man, these people are fucking crazy. This is never going to be me. And then here we are now, and multiple printers in. So yeah.
Who did it to me got me going, Brass Opie. He was friends I made on here, and he was, like I said, big with the Ender 3 Pros, and then he was like, oh yeah, if you go down to Micro Center and get one for $100.
Do you have a Micro Center by you?
I do.
That's dangerous.
10 minutes away. But
oh, jeez.
Me and a fellow creator on here are not happy with their 3D printing selection.
Listen, I don't want to hear any complaints. I don't even have a Micro Center.
I hear you. I'm just saying, I see some guys go to Micro Center. Is that a Micro Center or a 3D printing store? Because you go to one by a little sliver of the store, because the kids out here are all into the crypto, and so there's a big section on boards and shit like that.
Yeah, screw those kids. More 3D printers.
I got into this. I went out to the Micro Center to go get my $100 printer, and there was a line out the door. And I'm like, oh, is everybody here for that $100 printer deal? They're all looking at me. I was like, I'm not with them. Can I not wait online?
Yeah, can I just go past everyone else?
The Ender 2 Pro was just like, oh, I have to go get nozzles at the store. Technically, I bought a nozzle, and it came with a machine.
It just, buy one, get one. That's how it works. Great deal. What you were saying, though, at some point in the past, seeing like 3D printing technology online or wherever, and thinking, oh, that's going to be too expensive. I can't get into that. That was like exactly for me. It was maybe like 5 or 10 years ago I had first seen it, and I was like, man, that's so cool. Like, it's the future's here, and they were pretty expensive, at least they were expensive for me at the time.
A magazine where like guys were building them from scratch, and like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool, but I don't know the first thing about doing that. But now what's really cool is I've made that joke too. Like I know a lot of people give enders a lot of hate, but like I always say, if you can fix an ender, you're basically an engineer.
Yeah.
Because I tell everybody the same thing. It's a great one to cut your teeth on. They've never steered me wrong. The one behind me is giving me some issues, but my Ender 2 Pro is running like a champ. What does give me problems? That really expensive one in the background there.
Does it really?
Oh yeah, that's a whole saga in itself. Never worked right since the day I bought it, but it's not why we're here.
Don't mind the problem in the background. It's fine. But I completely agree about the enders. I know a lot of people say, oh, they're not worth it. They're junk or this or that. I learned so much on my ender. And I think the great thing about it too is if you're not sure if you're going to like a hobby, if you're not sure you're going to keep it, you can pick them up secondhand for a stupid cheap amount of money. So it's well worth it to me.
And the one thing I will tell you, like I said, having an ender, getting in 3D printing in general, the one fundamental thing it has taught me to fail. And I used to get very frustrated by it, used to get very aggravated by it to a level where my wife told me, like, you got to quit this hobby. This is not relaxing you at all. It was after I found the videos and like the troubleshooting videos and the community that I started realizing it's okay to fail. Like, you're going to fail at this hobby. You're going to fail many times. So that when you do have a success, it feels like the greatest fucking thing in the world. And and those are the types of conversations I have with like Art and Brass Opie. And I said, wow, it's so crazy. I found you guys. This feels like a support group. When I started thinking like back to Wreck-It Ralph, when he's sitting with all the villains, all saying, I'm bad and that's good. And I'm like, and I say to Brass Opie one day, I'm like, my prince may fail, but that doesn't mean I'm a failure. Guy comes back 8 hours later with this. Made up this sign in Tinkercad and goes, here, download this and print it out. And we've been like, it's become the creed. If you ever see me or Brass or anybody just shouting the creed on a fail video, like a printed fail video, this is what we're talking about. My prince may fail, but that doesn't mean I'm a failure. It's become like my mantra.
Yeah, I remember being very early into 3D printing, and it was just like days and days, if not weeks, of I could not get it together with my printers. I think I only had one at the time, so I was like completely out of commission. Printer wasn't working, and I had seen your video on that, and I was like, you know what? It's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this.
I'm glitched, and that's what's fun about doing this too. Is like I said, outside of the app, I'm another guy on the street. On here, like I've had people come to me like, "Oh, Ray, I started doing this because I saw you do it," and I'm nobody on here. Like you know what I mean, like that. But I've had like just random people go, "Oh wow, I started painting because I saw you paint in a video," and I'm like, "But you painted this giant fucking dinosaur. You're telling me like I inspired that paint job on that life-size dinosaur?" It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling too that once you start to figure yourself out, you start like rubbing off on other people. And then they, in turn, like start rubbing off on you. And again, it's what I love about this. It keeps me going. Because like you said before, too, like outside of this, it's like hard to make friends. I'm out here in suburban Long Island. There's nothing to do around here besides drink yourself into a grave. There's nothing, like no social thing outside. Like I said, like going to a bar or something like that. Me, I gave up on drinking because it was taking me down bad places. 3D printing. Like it's like that trend, right? Like the audio. I used to have a drug problem in high school. This is a lot more expensive.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. I can also, I jokingly say I live in Karenville. It's like mostly just like cranky old people that I live by, and there's not like a whole lot happening here.
Oh, right?
Yeah, I'm in Arizona.
I had seen that episode of remember that Gordon Ramsay episode? He goes to the...
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, Amy's Baking Company. That's in my house. That's a classic episode. We constantly talk. We wish that we could have gone there in person. I don't think she owns it anymore, but yeah, we talk about that all the time.
Long gone, because they were deluding themselves on everything from the storefront to the books.
Yeah, that's not everybody in Arizona is like that, but I like to say there's a lot of Karens where I live, so they have coined it Karenville that I live in.
Suburban Long Island.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it's cool hearing you say having people that like maybe you don't expect reach out and be like, you inspired me to get into this. What you're posting and like what you're doing in your day-to-day life, it just feels normal to you because that's just your life. But it's cool when you can hear that something that you're doing had a positive impact on people. And I forget like exactly how it goes, but something to the effect of make content or be the person that you needed when you were younger. I think that's a really like big thing that is great to see a lot of people do, and just make content that inspires other people is really cool to me.
And I came on TikTok, like I said, I didn't know what I wanted to be on TikTok, who I wanted to be on TikTok, because I tried it all starting out. Like I would do duets with people and do funny skits. I wish I need to figure out how to get back to the very beginning, because I've got some videos on there that like if people saw them now, just like I said, like me, like literally wearing, like coming, like trying to put on hats and costumes and stuff, just trying to find my, jumping in wherever I could on. I still jump in, and you see me, I do all the stupid audios and all that stuff, because it's fun. Even like I said, again, quoting TikTok, if 30 people liked my video, that's 30 people in my house saying, wow, look what you did. Oh, and it's a great feeling. It's the ultimate rush to feel. We all want to feel that way. We all feel included and wanted. I came on, I was like, oh man, maybe I'll hit that viral video, and then this will be my life now. I realized like there were things that, like, I made a video, it was like slightly 3D printing related, went totally viral, but like in a weird direction, like trolls and shit. But then, like I said, I say it all the time too, the videos you really pour your heart and soul into, 5 people see it. But you know what?
Yeah.
It's 5 people I know. And they're like, oh, like I said, I gave up on counts, likes, views, all that stuff. If a video does go viral, oh, shit, would it, like, how do you do that again? I do, you know, I do actually want to. I've been also too like trying to expand into different avenues within 3D printing, but like different aspects of it. Like the video I had that went viral was about 3D printing in movies.
Okay.
Twisted Mac had made the voice box of the Raptor from Jurassic Park 3. The memory totally clicked in my head. Like, holy shit, that's how they made it in the movie. They 3D printed it in the movie. I ran to my computer, I was like, look, this is how they did it. And it went crazy. Oh, wow, because for me, seeing that 20 years ago, I didn't know that was 3D printing, and now I do that all the time. And then that led to like other things, like people were telling me, what about small soldiers? I've seen small soldiers 100 times. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's 3D print. Literally the opening scene when the credits are rolling, they're resin printing the soldiers.
Oh, wow.
This is back in 1998. And people tell you, oh, yeah, that technology's been around for that long. Yeah, but it wasn't, I couldn't go buy it down at the store.
Yeah, it's funny you saying that about movies. I wish I could remember the title of it, but it was a Christmas movie, like an office Christmas party. I can't remember who's in it, but there's one scene in there where they cut to it. They're like, it's this big tech company, and there's 3D printers running in the background, and it's just like such a small detail of the movie, but I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, like there they are, they're running.
With Art and a bunch of guys like talking about wanting to do the series, I said, you don't realize like they're just using it as props now in the background. Yeah. Look at any science lab in a Marvel movie, there's all kinds of 3D printers in the background, not even running. Yeah. They're just there because they look like they're high tech.
Yeah, it's something what I think is really cool about 3D printing is I think it's one of those aspects of like science or technology that it can draw almost anybody in. I work from home and I am on like Zoom calls all day with people, like inside my company, outside my company, on my 3D printer behind me. And I can't tell you how many times like we'll be in the middle of a business conversation, like business dealings, and people stop and they're like, wait, is that a 3D printer? And people just get excited about it, which is really cool.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I purchased the Ender 2, because I really wanted to start just going out in public and just like sitting down in Starbucks or something and just doing like a 20-minute print just so people like, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. There's a guy who does that. I can't remember the user off the top of my head, but he popped up on my feed a couple times. He runs a mobile repair shop with a 3D printer. People come in.
No way.
Broken. Oh, let me see. Pulls out the caliper. Oh, come back later. Prints it up. One episode, he was printing in the park. He had his whole rig hooked up to a solar panel. He was chasing the sun around the park to keep the printer going.
God. So no shit.
Yeah, if I come across it, again, I'll send you like the link. But again, that's what I love about the community is like it's everybody, because everybody from that's not into it sees just like oh yeah, it's that guy again. He's got his print going for 10 hours.
Yeah.
There are so many people now branching outside of that, kind of doing their own 3D printing thing, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I can go at the park line anytime soon, but I really want to, because there are a lot of creators on here too. Who's Josh? Josh is odd.
I hope I follow him.
he's been an inspiration for me as far as like he was like very passionate, like wanting to teach 3D printing. Like he's starting a shop
Oh
specifically that would
wow.
you have printers running. People would come in, it'd be a normal print shop, and then you could learn 3D printing at the same time. I've been actually myself trying to look into how to do that through the community, through the school, through something, because they don't do enough of this stuff. Get these kids hooked on this, they'll never do drugs.
They won't have money to do drugs. They'll be spending all their money at Micro Center. No, I think that I'm a big advocate for and getting young kids interested in science and technology, but not by having a teacher stand in the front of the room and lecture on how atoms work or how this works or how that works. Like, I think when you can get kids interested and let them like experiment and tinker and be hands-on, I feel like that really gets people excited for the long term about doing that. And I think that's really cool. So I would love to see something where people can do more with kids and get kids excited about technology.
I know my local library has a 3D printer. I haven't seen it yet, but I know from like experience, it was basically like the local libraries were given a budget. Oh, what are the kids into? We got to buy 3D printers. Oh, what's a good 3D printer? So they went out and spent a good amount of money on a Prusa that sits there and makes stuff like this for kids all day. Just like 20-minute 2D object to try to get kids into printing, but there's nobody standing there like telling the kid, hey, this is how the thing works. This is, oh, watch me fix it when it breaks. It's like walking up to a vending machine, selecting something out of a catalog and pushing a button, which is still cool. Like, sit there and watch it, but I want to do something where, like, I love what guys are doing at the street fairs and craft events now. They're bringing their printers to the events to show, hey, this is how we did this.
Yeah, I was just talking to Pretzel Prince a couple weeks ago, and she was saying exactly that. She brings her printers to the shows, and that kids will come at the beginning of the show, and it's just getting laid down, and then by the end of the show, it'll be finishing, and they're like, their mind is blown, they're super excited about it, and yeah, I just think that's like really cool to get people to experience for the first time.
Yeah, I thought about doing a show, but like I said, for me, I really admire people's passion to sit there with like their Patreon subscriptions and just become a like 3D print farm, mass producing. I have the capability of doing it. It's just like really trying to find the time to sit and create that inventory. Like I said, I know a lot of people do this full time. I'd love to do this full time and really, because it's a hobby, it's a passion, and I'd really like to make it a full time job if I could. But I really feel like I'm doing that. Like I'm branching out with like so the pins, starting to get more interest in that with people outside of 3D printing. Oh wow, yeah, I like his stuff, and then come view my other wares.
Yeah. I think what's cool about 3D printing is like a business is that you can scale it as you go. And it's really, you don't have to jump in and start with a $10,000 investment. You can buy a couple $100 printer and start just doing a couple jobs and get your feet wet. So I think that's a really cool thing about that.
Exactly. And that's the other avenues I've been looking into too, right? Not necessarily like just selling stuff I'm subscribed to on a Patreon. I'm trying to find ways of like even like filling needs in my community. Like I went down to the coffee shop. I'm like, do you need stuff? Oh yeah, can you make me like a sign? Can you do this? Trying to put myself out there and be available to more avenues. But my heart is with the Halloween and the spooky stuff, so I'm trying to find the spooky people in my area.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. One of the things you touched on a little earlier was you had said at some point online you're like this 3D printer and you have this persona, but like in real life maybe you're just like an average guy. And I had somebody say this to me on another podcast, and I hope you take this in a good way because I loved when somebody said this to me. They were like, I collect weirdos, like when I'm looking for friends, and they're like, you fit into this category, like I collected you, like you were a weirdo that I collected. And like seeing you online in the best way, that's how I feel about you. Like you're just like the antithesis of Halloween and spooky, and you have these cool glasses and you have such a unique look to you. And I think like in my day-to-day life, I don't encounter a lot of people who like are just, I don't know if like magic is the right word, but have a bit of a magic to them. I think that's really cool and really unique. And I don't know if that's something that you feel in your day-to-day life, but I think that's something that's really cool about it.
When I hit 30, like I looked at, like one of my favorite quotes is that Frank Reynolds quote. I don't know how many years I got left, so I'm gonna get real weird with it. And went into that full throttle. I think one of the first ways I did that was like the glasses. And then, like I said, 3D printing allowed me, like I said, to express myself more in making the kind of stuff that I've always wanted and not able to get. And then with TikTok, gave me the confidence to go out and wear this shit like every day and not give a shit. Because that was me in my 20s, right? Trying to be a certain persona. But people don't realize that like in your 20s, you're still a fucking kid. They say you're an adult, but you're just a kid with money now. And so I
Yeah.
spent most of my money on hanging out with people who weren't really my friends, and we were just getting fucked up every night. What can I say? And I was going nowhere with it, and it was really, like I said, like my wife who helped me get away from that, and made me realize that the people I was with were laughing at me. They weren't laughing with me. They would introduce me at parties as the weird one. And at the time, I would take it very hard, right? Because you're a young kid, you're still trying to come to terms with your own identity, and then you're going to a party like, hey, it's our friend Ray, he's the weird one. Yeah, and you really take that shit to heart. Now I wear it like a badge of fucking honor. Like I tell my kids it's okay to be fucking weird. Be whatever the hell you want to be. Don't be what other people want you to be. And it took me a long time to realize that. And like I told you before, I'm the teenager I always wanted to be, because now I have the capability of, and I don't have that stigma and that judgment from a parent or some asshole friend who's like, you're really going to go out like that? You're really going to wear that? I said to my wife tonight, I'm like, I think I may have taken the Skullman thing a bit too far. But that's it. It's my whole personality now.
Yeah, I can completely relate to that. I can't tell you how many times as a younger growing up, like you'll be like refer to me as the weird one or like this or that. And like you said, when you're young, it's like hard to hear that sometimes. But I think what has been really cool about the 3D printing community specifically is like it
We're all
is like a group
weird.
of we're all fucking weird.
We're
Yeah.
all weirdos with ADHD, and this is why the algorithms just, oh, you're a 3D printer, all right, here's some ADHD, here's this for you. Like, we're all, and that's why I said before, I found my tribe. We're all like the same. We're all resonating on like the same frequencies, because it's like Art said to me today. Art sent a comment to Michael, maniacal laugh. I respond literally with the video of the scene from the Muppets where the bad guys go, maniacal laugh, maniacal laugh. Goes, Ray, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Like, how do you do that? I've got kindred spirits. I've got lifelong friends that I've never met in person. It's incredible. Like I said,
Yeah.
we're all fucked up. I love it.
I love it too. Yeah, I in the strangest way. I think it's like a great way to help people come out of their shell and what's coming into TikTok and coming into 3D printing.
And like TikTok, the community I found here really allowed me to do that. It brought me on a whole healing journey, right? Came onto the app like a lot of people during lockdown. Started like realizing that, hey, a lot of my problems are because of this and that. Oh wow, that guy has the same issues I have, and this is on top of trying to stay with the core of 3D printing, but you can't help it. Like they all say, oh, you gotta find a niche on TikTok. I can't help it. They keep putting this shit in my face, and I keep like, I don't know, guys. I'm a bisexual witch. What can I tell you?
Yeah, it's really is. It's been a great thing. So I'm very grateful to have found and very grateful to have found all the fellow 3D printing weirdos on the internet.
It's a wild ride. Like I said, I'm really happy to be here. I really hope the app stays where it is and improves, but there's always the outside fucking forces that just want to take away the fun.
Yeah, I think the 3D printing community, no matter what happens to TikTok, I think everybody will find their way to get back to each other because
if it all ended tomorrow, I think that 3D printers are going to be all right.
I
As long
agree.
as we have like a generator, like I said, I told you, like we said, we all have a backup of Thingiverse on our computers. And then there's a company out by me that'll 3D print houses, so we can all be like,
All the 3D printers will move into a neighborhood in their 3D printed houses.
we'll just get it. Like, and that's exactly it. It's only getting better. It's getting faster. It's getting more efficient. I'm probably not going to buy a bamboo anytime soon, but the stuff people are doing with bamboo is incredible. And that was the printer. I said, damn, if I just waited a year, I wouldn't have had to learn how to paint.
Yeah, no, I see the bamboo and I'm like, man, it would be great to do multicolor, but had I just had a bamboo, like you said, I never would have gotten into painting. I never would have done a lot of things. I don't know. It's a double-edged sword.
I would have had to scream like, how do they do that? It's like almost like paint, like they're painting by hand on the screen. It's like you can't. There's no paint bucket on that slicer. I don't think I have the patience for that.
Yeah, I'll stick to my paintbrush for now. That somehow feels easier. But that said, Ray, I've had such a great time talking to you. It was great to get to know you a little more outside of just your videos. But for people who don't follow you already, can you tell people where they can follow along with your videos and follow along with you on the internet?
You can definitely follow me on TikTok at Ray Sussman, because I'm an elder millennial and I forgot that you're not supposed to use your real name on here. So that's it. Like you just go find me. You can just it's my name, like Ray Sussman on all the major platforms. I've got a Ko-Fi shop which you can find these wonderful accessories. And yeah, man, like I said, if you want to follow me, it's all downhill from here.
Awesome. Ray, thank you again so much for coming on today. And with that said, that is Meet the Makers.